Welcome back to a series we're dubbing Football Time Machine. And basically, we're just going to go back in time to a moment in football history that we enjoyed.
Yeah, and this is going to be like 99% of the people in the world will have no idea what team we're on about. We're going to try and take you through it and like what we were thinking at the time and the emotion and all that and the things around it as well. That made it so like nostalgic for us,
That's it. So this episode is going to be featuring Wrexham.
Yeah, and this. I was thinking about this the other day. Like, obviously, there's a lot of things with Wrexham that are very similar now, and to this period we're going to go back to. But there's also a lot of things that have completely changed. Like, it's almost like you don't recognise the club in some respects, but in other respects you do, don't you?
Yeah. And then obviously we'll get onto that when we actually talk about it, but what season are we going to talk about?
So it's the 2011-2012 season. When Wrexham had got relegated to the non-league tier system in 2008. So this was the first time they really had a go at trying to get back up. And we watched every game, I think, that season. We went away a few times as well, didn't
we? Yeah.
And I just remember this team being really good, really entertaining. This is what... To be fair, this probably is what generated like my just obsession with football, really, this season.
Yeah, it was a bit different for me because I was like 10, 11 years old, so I can't remember much.
Yeah, you remember like the keepers.
Yeah.
I think you remember most of the team, don't you?
Yeah.
But yeah, these are some great players, aren't we, that you've probably never heard of. How do you want to do with them? Do you want to talk about what was happening around it first?
Yeah.
So, like, Wrexham had absolutely no money. Like I think everyone in this team was signed on a free transfer.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah, and I always remember like they'd be on 1 or maximum 2 year deals. So your team would change every year, which if you had a bad season was actually a good thing because obviously you're gonna have to change your players anyway because you can't afford to sign them back on or whatever. They want to raise them. Everyone does when they sign on again.
Yeah. And you got a lot of players on loan, I think.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Yeah, there's a few young players dotted around the squad, weren't there?
Yeah. And then I also should mention that Fleetwood are also in the league.
Yeah, that's what I was going to get to next. They're like the big dogs, basically. I don't remember all the players they were signing. But there's a couple that stood out to me when I was looking. And all I remember at the time is like every time we looked, Fleetwood would just sign someone new. Like every day. And they were all the best players around like League 2 and the National League and even the league below. Because it's very strong, the league back then.
Yeah.
Similar to the Wrexham Notts County season and Stockport. Or like a lot of strong teams. And there's one particular man, wasn't there?
Yeah, obviously went on to achieve great things in the Premier League by the name of Jamie Vardy.
Yeah. Do you actually remember when Wrexham played him?
Yeah, he was just fast as hell. I've never seen anyone that fast in real life.
Yeah, honestly, he had like a mohawk, didn't he? Like a really bad mohawk.
Yeah, like really thin one, like just down the middle.
Yeah, he was just a classic non-league striker, wasn't he? And tell you why, like I mentioned there were a couple of players, because do you remember Andy Mangan? Do you remember him?
No.
He had a couple of seasons at Wrexham after, didn't
he?
And he was really good in the league as well, and he's another fast forward. And Danny Rowe as well. He was very prolific at that level. Yeah, and I think Wrexham got him after. I'm not completely sure on that one. But basically, that's just the forwards, and like the defenders and midfielders are all top class as well. They were really good when we played them, like fair play. Yeah, like you said, he was just absolutely rapid. I mean, he's the best player I've ever seen at like Wrexham's level. Like by far, like it was just obvious he was going to be like. Well, you don't think he'd go to the Premier League, obviously, but he could take him up to the leagues, you know.
And he's got to be the best player to ever play in the National League, right?
Yeah, probably, yeah. Like, obviously, players, when they're retiring, come down, don't they? Like, Wrexham had that guy from Chelsea, centre-half. I forget his name. And but players like that, but he was actually in his prime. Like, I had a look, he was 25. Honestly, you cannot describe how good he was. But that's what Wrexham were up against, basically. And we'll get into the point situation and all that after, but...
Yeah. We were like a fan-owned club. They buy the club for like £1.
Yeah, because they had so much debt. They were just like, you just buy the club for £1, but you take on all the debt, you know. So we're just, you know, we're paying you, really.
And then there's like the whole thing when we got took over by Ryan Reynolds and Rob, that they had to go to the fan people in the club and then convince them.
Yeah, that's it, yeah. Yeah, so that's sort of where that comes from, really. But honestly, it's difficult to describe, like, how bad it was for Wrexham. You know, like, compared to how it is now. Like, if somehow an American has clicked on this, which is probably the most likely, then, you know, it's just completely different. I don't know. In some ways better, and it's like, you know, you get that real sense of, like, what the club is, don't you? But now, like, you never get that, really, if you're, like, a new fan. Because it's just so different, you know?
Yeah, it's been commercialised.
Yeah. But, you know, there's obviously positives as well. I'm not hating on the ownership, obviously. It's way better than it was.
Yeah, because now we have the dream of, like, getting to the Premier League, don't we?
Yeah, that's it, yeah.
Seeing our local team in the Premier League.
Yeah, that's it. It's not, like, bad or good. It's just different, isn't it?
Yeah.
Completely different. That's what I'm trying to say, really.
Yeah, obviously, objectively, it's better than being stuck in the National League. Like, God knows how long we could have been stuck there.
Yeah. It's weird, and it's seeing it from a different side when you've seen what we had back then.
Because how much could we get the tickets for back then? They were really cheap, wasn't it?
Yeah, I was going in for £10. Which is, yeah, I suppose we may as well get into some of the match day things. Like, do you remember any match day specifically? Or any specific instances of stuff we used to do? I'll tell you if you don't know, because I got some funny ones.
Well, I just remember you just go to the gate and the gate's just a metal gate and you give him the ticket. He doesn't even look at it, he just rips it and lets you go in.
Yeah. Well, sometimes you could even just pay on the gate, couldn't you?
Yeah, I've done that a few times.
Yeah. Because I always remember we go every week, and we didn't have a season ticket. So we go up to the gate, and then obviously I was with my dad and you, obviously. And the guy would be like, "Oh, is he like still in school?" Or whatever. It's the same guy every week, and then Dad was always raging. He's like, "Why did you keep asking him that?" Because obviously it was more expensive if you're out of school. I think it was like £15 or £18 a moment for Dad to go in. Only 10 for me, and then Dad's just like, honestly, next week just don't ask him that. I just remember that being so awkward for me, you know. I was just like, please don't say it again. Every time I was going up.
It is quite clearly still in school though, because like, you know, he didn't have a beard or anything.
Nah. And Dad was like, oh yeah, that's another thing. I remember Dad saying like, oh, we'll go home and get his birth certificate. I was like, birth certificate? But yeah, I actually did have like sideburns. Do you remember?
Did you?
Yeah. It's just like when I was getting to like the end of high school. I was getting a bit of dodgy facial hair. And I was tall one day as well, obviously, back then. So, you know, fair play to the guy, you know, he was just doing his job, but after like the first 3 times shot, it was like an old game.
It's still the same season, bro.
Yeah.
He's not going to age like 5 years in 2 weeks, is he?
Yeah, that's it, yeah.
And then I remember outside before we even got into the stadium, the guys just shouting, 50, 50!
Yeah, it was like a sort of like a raffle situation, isn't it? 50% goes to the club and 50% to charity of whatever you tickets you buy. and then they give out prizes. Like I remember, like, oh, a family ticket to Odeon. It's like,
At half time.
yeah, and the guy would come on the announcer and be like, oh, here's the winning number for the third choice prize, the Odeon family tickets.
Yeah.
And then he'd read it out, and then some guy would be like, oh, I got that.
Oh, it's me.
Yeah,
Yeah, a few people stand, like, sitting next to you, just stand up like, oh, I've won.
Yeah. And then you got to go to the steward and claim it.
Yeah.
But yeah, not many people bought
I like them people who come up to you with magazines in town or whatever, and they just like, oh, get out my face.
Yeah, that's what it felt like. Yeah, because you got to remember we were on a budget.
Yeah.
So yeah, there's like a few distinct characters around as well, because obviously, well, it used to be called a Yale stand. I don't actually know what it's called now. But it's like not the newer long side, the older long side. You know, towards the university, like football, AstroTurf and all that. Nah, you know, we were at the top there, weren't we? There's like a bank in there, like, you know, big rectangle of seats, and they're the same characters in every game, weren't they?
Yeah, I don't know if they just did the same as us, but like the same area.
Yeah.
They had season tickets there.
Yeah, right.
We just got like a distinct memory. Obviously, we're not going to say his name or who he is or whatever. But he used to be a bus driver.
Yeah.
For Arriva buses, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was, yeah. Seen him a couple of times on the bus.
Mm.
And yeah, what did he used to show?
He just used to shout Wrexham, did he? But like really elongated.
Yeah, come on you Reds, it was.
Oh yeah.
Come on you Reds. You just feel like
Yeah. Wrexham.
that. Yeah. Yeah, and he had like a big dude with him, didn't he? Big fat dude. He'd always come with him and they'd bring their kids or whatever.
Yeah, and I played in a football team with one of his kids.
Yeah.
Park Youth, shout out Park Youth.
Yeah. Well, you just got to recognise everyone, didn't you? I don't know, it's like, I don't know, it's just like I'm trying to find the word. Not like a family environment, but like, I don't know.
Yeah, you could speak to him like that was a good game or talk about one of the players or whatever, but you didn't like have a massive conversation like inviting around to your house or anything.
No, that's it, and that's all you want, and like, it's just like a perfect thing, like a community, like spirit when you go there. And obviously you all want the same thing, you all hurt him when they lose. Yeah.
Yeah, it's just you just like want the same experience. You're there to watch Wrexham and just like, you know, that's all you need in common really.
Yeah, that's it, yeah.
And that's all you talk about with the other people.
Yeah, and I remember there was an old guy by there, and I remember the steward. You remember him with grey hair? He always stood on the side, didn't he?
Yeah.
Top of the steps. And then we'd always try and get the seats, you know, like, there was like two sections, wasn't there? Like a sort of lower tier of like the top level and then a higher tier, and we'd always try and get in the front row of the higher tier, because then obviously you got loads of leg room, so it was like a walkway in between.
Yeah.
But people would always be there, wouldn't they?
No matter how early you went, really, you never got free next to each other.
Yeah, yeah. But otherwise you're in the little island at the bottom of the bus driver.
Yeah.
And yeah, well, I was thinking earlier actually, attendances in general, like maybe 1,500. If you're lucky, sometimes go below that, sometimes go above it for big games. But now all you know, if you're a new fan, is like 12,000 at least. If there were 15,000, it would fill it.
Yeah.
That's just completely foreign to me. Luckily.
And before that, our mum and dad used to get together, and they went away to one game, and they only took 6 away fans, and
Yeah.
and they were 2 of them.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
So 4 other people.
Like, I don't think we were even born at this point. Like,
Mm.
that's many years ago, but it just shows you, like, Wrexham always have a following everywhere, but, you know, it's not like a massive, like it was now, it's not like a massive, like, drive for everyone going there, is it?
Yeah,
Doesn't
like,
have-
we're really small. Like, we're called town or whatever before we got taken over by Wrexham, because that's what we are, we're just a little town, aren't we?
Yeah, yeah. But now, obviously, this whole thing has just took over the town and it completely.
Yeah, now we got city status, which just doesn't feel right.
No, not at all.
You always say, oh, we're going to town or whatever, if you even go there, because there's nothing there, is
No, no.
there? Now it's a city, like, I don't know if they're going to build it up.
Yeah,
And obviously they got the stadium. That's a good start, starting point.
yeah, that's it.
Yeah. They gotta build like actual businesses there now.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Crazy. Yeah, I wanted to say as well, like sometimes we get a couple of free tickets. Do you remember that?
Yeah.
Just like a extended family member of ours. And what was, well, it's still called the Centenary Club.
Mm.
You just used to go in there like before the game, and this family member, he'd I don't know where he got them from, but he'd get us like 3 tickets.
Mm.
So then some weeks we get it off. I think we had like a couple of months in that season where we got 3 tickets.
Yeah.
Like he's getting off like players, I think, like
Mm.
because obviously they couldn't get rid of all the ones they had, could they? The stadium's empty anyway. May as well give them away.
Yeah.
But yeah, you just go in there, but then you have to have a drink and like talk to him or whatever.
Mm.
And then he'd give you.
Yeah. And then also when you bought the tickets, if you bought them early, you had to go to like the back of the stadium, like a little office type area.
Yeah, yeah, and collect.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And they gave you them in like an envelope.
yeah.
Sometimes if you were in Wrexham, then you just quickly got and picked them up, didn't you?
Yep.
And it was better to actually pick them up early, because if you ordered them and tried to pick them up on the game day, then you'd have to wait in a queue, wouldn't you?
Yeah, yeah. Remember that? Yeah.
Because everyone tried to pick them up before the game.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, true.
And then when you actually got into the game, they just talk about like the conditions of the stadium. Really, the seats were the smallest plastic little seats ever, and
Yeah, they were terrible ones. Yeah.
like rusting basically.
Yeah.
And then they had this scoreboard on the right side to it. That just didn't work half the time.
It's one of them like old-fashioned ones where it like moves across the screen on like 1 pixel at a time. Like some of the pixels will be out. Just like, wait a minute, who's that player? And you have to wait for it to get along so you can see what the letter was.
And then like voice guy, I don't know, announcer.
Yeah.
Like you couldn't understand the word he said, could you?
Sound system is so bad.
Only come on, you just like shut up and try and like listen as hard as possible.
Yeah.
You might hear something.
Yeah, and I remember you'd always listen for the attendance as well, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
Well, Dad would especially. He'd always try and listen for what the attendance was.
And they say that usually about like 80 minutes, did they?
Yeah, right. Yeah, because they're counting it up during the match, aren't they? All the numbers that come through the gate.
Yeah.
But yeah, if we get on to, that's pretty much everything, isn't it? Really, like around some nostalgic elements.
Yeah, it's just explain the culture of the club a bit.
Yeah.
What's happening during that time.
Oh, we should say where we parked, isn't it? Just for record, actually.
Yeah.
It's like by that school down the road and under that bridge. A nice free parking spot there. It's a bit of a walk, like, but it's always nice.
Yeah, it's like 20-minute walk every game. Right?
Yeah, yeah. But it wasn't nowhere near as busy as it is now. So, like, if you did that now, you'd be completely screwed, really. Because you wouldn't be able to drive out, would you, easy? You'd have to wait for ages.
Yeah. And sometimes you could get in like Plasco area, can you park there?
Yeah. Like, yeah, it's like a pub. If you walk through the uni complex, come out the other side and that park there. We just, obviously you're meant to like have a drink or something in there, we just use the park in there and just go. Nothing ever come of it, I think.
Is that the guy you're talking about who gave us the free tickets and he would sit in that pub? Who's that doing good?
I think that's a different guy. So we can move on to some of the players and distinct moments we remember playing wise, can we? And the style of the team. And if anyone knows anything about this season, we'll get to Luton later on. We're not like missing them. Some of the players they had who were arguably just as good as Jamie Vardy. But we'll get to that after. To the team. Just see, without getting the list up, like, can you just reel them off?
Yeah, let's start from the back, right?
Yeah.
Maxwell, goalkeeper.
Yeah. We should note that Danny Ward, the current Wales #1, was reserve keeper.
It's kind of mad to think, isn't it?
But Maxwell was really good, wasn't he?
Yeah.
Like, at the time, we all thought, like, oh yeah, he'll go somewhere good, Championship or whatever, and he did. In the end, didn't
I remember him like doing them classic saves where it looks like it's already gone past him and he like claws it back.
Yeah, he looks like a keeper as well, doesn't he? He's got like this body structure and everything. He just looked like his distribution was good for that level as well. Wasn't it? Okay.
Yeah, two good keepers there.
Yeah.
And then right back, I'd say he's my favourite player from this team is Curtis Obank.
Yeah. I'll make a point after we finish the team about, just a general observation I made at the time, but him specifically, like, he had multiple good traits, didn't he?
And then he, skipping to the end of his career, basically he went to Swansea, didn't he, after he left us? And he just fizzled out, didn't he?
Yeah, he just couldn't get a game, could he?
Which is a shame. I don't know what happened, really.
No.
He was really good for us.
Yeah, but he had like a good weapon, didn't he? Like his long throw. He'd launch at him, and like a spear. And that was like around the time of Rory to lap. So like everyone was loving the long throws.
And he was just really good at tackling. I remember, like, just standing up when he's jacking someone, he'd most likely come out with the ball.
Yeah, 100%. And his pace, obviously, as well.
And then moving on to the centre backs, two beasts, Mark Creighton and Knight Purcell.
Yeah, and this is the classic combination, like, ball playing sweeper and the guy who attacks the ball better than anyone you'll ever see. Honestly, he suited Wrexham perfect, and you got to think as well, actually, which I haven't mentioned, Wrexham is a big pitch, and when we say how far this guy could head a ball, that's like probably the biggest pitch in the league.
He could head the ball further than you can kick it, probably.
Yeah, you do like a goal kick, and it's not got any pace on it really, so it's hard to like head it far, isn't it? You sort of just, that's why you do a long kick from a goal kick, is because you win the second balls in midfield. But every time, without fail, you just go off his head, wouldn't it? It's basically back to the keeper. I remember him heading it multiple times on the edge of his own box into the keeper's hands in the other end of the pitch.
Yeah, he could do a through ball with his head from his own box.
Yeah, and the kind of guy he was. He opened a tattoo shop, didn't he?
Did he?
After, yeah. And I think he had a couple in the end. So you basically just picture like a meathead. That's what he was. He was bald, probably about 6'3", stocky. He wasn't the quickest. No one's going to challenge him in the air, basically. So he just had domination of that area, didn't he?
And then probably the best thing that is attributed to him is whenever he did the head or a big challenge, the whole stadium would just erupt and everyone screaming the word beast.
Yeah.
Beast!
And just like, just boom, he heads it to the opposite end. Beast!
It's just every time. People are just waiting for that to happen on the goal kick.
Yeah. Well, yeah, he's one of them. And then Knight Percival. This is a guy who was like some like attacking midfield. He's got like a good touch, skillful player, wasn't he? We should say Dean Saunders was the manager at the time. And he moved him back, didn't he, to centre half, which is like the best decision ever for Knight Percival's career, wasn't it?
That happened to him. He go to Peterborough. I come from that.
Yeah, I can't remember. He ended up in the Championship as well, but I can't quite remember who it was. But yeah, he went to a couple of clubs in the end, and he made a really great career, which he wouldn't have done if he'd stayed in midfield, probably. But yeah, I remember him on the ball, for a centre half. Like, you've never seen that really. Like someone who can actually dribble, and obviously he was a perfect partner only for Creighton. Because if Creighton somehow like didn't win the challenge properly, or it ends up going behind or whatever, Knight Percival always sweep up, wouldn't he?
Yeah, but just imagine like attributing to current football. It's just like Gabriel and Saliba.
Yeah.
It's a partnership.
Yeah, probably, yeah.
Gabriel goes in and attacks like Creighton did, and Knight Percival covers and get on the ball.
Yeah.
He's fast. He's really fast.
Yeah, that's it, yeah. Yeah, and he's a good size as well, though, and he's to be fair to him. Quite tall.
Yeah, he's like a kind of skinny one, like lean one, and great. Obviously, Creighton was a beast.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
And then again onto the left back, I actually don't remember this guy. Really, I remember the name when you said it earlier, but I don't remember him really.
Yeah, Neil Ashton.
Yeah.
He was just like a solid, like, dependable player, really. And he had a good set piece and good cross. Obviously, he's left footed, he's playing left back. But he's just one of them. He's just been around the leagues, really. And you need them sorts of players, don't you? When you've got like a Beng, he's like a free spirit, really, when he was getting up and down. And like Percival wasn't a centre half. So you need someone solid, don't you, next to him?
Yeah. And then getting onto also the DM, I didn't know him really. And I couldn't even remember that name. But you remembered him, didn't you?
Yeah, Declan Walker. He was just a young player. He was really good on the ball, breaking up play. But I think he was lucky he had two really good players in front of him for his level, didn't he? For the level.
Yeah, and then mentioning them, Dean Keats, who went on to be future Wrexham manager.
Yeah, really good player. Again, set pieces, he was really good as well, wasn't he?
Yeah. And was he captain?
Yeah, I think he would have been, yeah.
Yeah.
Pretty sure. Yeah, and then Harris, the other side, who, he was still going. Well, I think last season he's still going, wasn't he, in League Two? He's had a good career, to be fair. But he was like again, it's just like him and Keats were quite small players, weren't they? Ball playing. And he was a good dribbler. He was more like the get in the box guy, wasn't he? Get on the end of something as well.
Yeah. And then moving on to the forwards, start with Spate, do we?
Yeah, go with Spate. Guy, he's another one. He's like a classic non-league striker, wasn't he, as well, really? So winger. They've sort of played three strikers up front, didn't they, at times? And two on the wing. Proper 4-3-3. And he was just like a fast, bald guy when he wasn't too tall. But he's a good finisher, wasn't
he? Yeah, and he's pretty good at dribbling for that level as well.
Yeah, 100%.
And then, who's the other one? Oh, well, we had loads of forwards who started most of the games.
Yeah, Andy Morel maybe, go to him. But he scored a great goal, which I remember, which we'll get to later. But he was, he'd been around the leagues as well, and he'd also be manager of Wrexham at one point.
I think he had captain armband a few times as well, didn't he?
Yeah. Yeah, but he's a good player, to be fair. Because obviously Wrexham couldn't get these great players back then. So it's sort of he was 37 at the time. But obviously, you just got to get someone in and hope it works. Yeah.
And then the big name here, we're going to say his last name, Pogba. But it's not Paul Pogba.
Yeah, Matthias. I remember him like Danny Wright, which we haven't got to. He was a starter, really. But Pogba would come on like for the last 10 minutes and he just wouldn't stop running. Like, fair play to him. And he just, like, his whole deal, like, Dean Saunders would just tell him, like, get on there and just close down the keeper, close down the centre halves, and he'd be absolutely knackered at the end of the game after playing for like 10 minutes plus added time.
Yeah. You have a distinct memory of him, don't you? And Paul Pogba came to watch one of the games.
Well, yeah, I remember like looking over to our right, and like the stand was empty again, and Pogba's like in the lower, the lower section of our stand, wasn't he? Right on the right hand side, and obviously Matthias gets a goal and goes running over to Paul, and he grabbing him in the crowd and all that.
Yeah, and this was a period where Pogba was like the young player in the United team, like everyone was really excited about him.
Yeah, and everyone was saying like, "Oh, it's his brother," around as I remember. No, because obviously he's like one of the best players to ever set foot in the ground, really, isn't he?
Yeah, gotta be.
I was like, why is he there? But obviously he's only in Manchester, and an hour away, so if he's got time, he may as well watch it. Yeah, Danny Wright. I think he was probably the best of the forwards. This was like a really prolific striker, wasn't it, around that standard?
Yeah.
And he was quite tall, but he was like it's sort of like a language style. Like I remember he's like hunched over a bit, but he was like the main goal scorer. You know, he was a goal threat.
Yeah. Do you remember his chant?
Yeah.
Tony, right.
Yeah.
He went off him a bit because he kind of snaked us, didn't he?
Yeah, he did a bit. Yeah.
Like, a few seasons after we hadn't got promoted, obviously, and he left and joined, was it like Tranmere or something? One of our direct competitors.
Something like that, wasn't it? Yeah.
You know, it's just like a bullet to the heart, wasn't it, when he
Yeah.
because the other ones, they went up and you could respect them, like they went to like League 2, League 1, Championship even. But he just went to the National League.
Yeah.
With a different team, so
Yeah.
it's kind of annoying.
Then we should mention Adrian Chislovic as well, shouldn't we?
Yeah, Chizzy.
Yeah, he's still playing for TNS now, actually.
Yeah, we watched a couple of years ago in a Champions League game, didn't we?
Yeah. But yeah, he was the most exciting player, wasn't he? Like, he's just one of them guys. Like, you just had no idea what he was going to do with it.
Yeah.
And some games he'd be absolutely awful, wouldn't
Yeah, you just try to take him on every single time.
Yeah. And he always had to go off, which is why we had so many forwards in the squad. Because, you know, Pogba couldn't run really. Chislovic, he couldn't do anything like past like 60 minutes, really.
Yeah, Morel was bloody ancient.
Yeah. So we needed this deep roster of players. And yeah, there was Anaruo. He didn't get too many games, and he'd come on off the bench. I don't know if you remember him, really.
No, not at all.
He's like a bald guy. Wasn't too tall. He was just, again, like we needed the players because everyone was running so much.
Yeah. Are there any other notable players that, like, in midfield and defence that you kind of skipped over? Maybe got a few games?
Glenn Little. I think he was a bit older at the time. I don't remember him too much, to be honest.
Yeah, because midfield practically played like every minute, didn't they? They were really dependable and solid. On the defence, to be fair.
Yeah, we should say Gareth Taylor was there as well. He was 39 now. And he's one of them guys who's been like around all the leagues. I'm just getting up some of the teams he played for in his career.
Yeah.
But again, he's like an older one, which you just need bodies, don't you? But yeah, Man City, Burnley, Forest, Crewe, Tranmere, Carlisle. Yeah, he's been around basically in his career at a really good level.
Yeah.
That's what you used to do back then. Like, you didn't sign like Paul Mullins, like come from League One or whatever, and you know, or like a Conquo. They're not old. They're not older. They're in their prime years. Or like a Conquo's not even hit his prime years yet. And somehow they've got it. You know.
Yeah, we used to just sign ex-players who are really old who used to be good.
Yeah.
And every team in the league did that basically, or tried to do that. And but like obviously we're one of the biggest teams in the country, really. Because we're one of the first ever teams that has been made. Really like the second team.
Yeah. So you'd always, So you'd always attract players, wouldn't you? You know, everyone's heard of Wrexham basically. They were a big name back in the day. Like everyone knows who they are in this country.
Yeah, we've had some like good moments in history. Like getting back to Mum and Dad watched a game. They watched a game against Arsenal, didn't they, in the FA Cup? Mickey Thomas scored a free kick.
Yeah. So yeah, that classic one. You know, we've heard like a million times on TV every time the FA Cup comes round.
And you said Paul Pogba's probably one of the best players to step foot in the stadium, but there's that whole Arsenal team in there.
Well, yeah.
We managed to beat him.
That's it.
Which is crazy. Because obviously we support Arsenal and Wrexham.
Yeah.
Is it because of that? Probably isn't. Dad supporting?
Nah, they supported him before that,
yeah. So yeah, that's cool. Our team's met.
Yeah. But that was the team. And I just wanted to say, you know, about the general style of play. Like, this is the time a prime Pep Guardiola Barca
Hmm.
and Messi. And that is actually, like, I'm not even like exaggerating. That is the style that this Wrexham team played.
Hmm.
Very similar.
Yeah, it's like dominating with the ball and trying to.
Yeah. Honestly, the amount of possession they had, and they win the ball back so quickly. And when I just compare it to the players position by position as well, like Danny Alves, Curtis Obank,
Yeah,
it's so similar.
you could say Ben actually outclasses him.
Yeah. Yeah.
No, they're just similar profiles. Obviously, the league in quality is like massively different.
Yeah.
They've just got similar profiles in each position.
Yeah. But then obviously you'd have Puyol. He's just like an aggressive like guy who just goes for it, isn't he? Like Creighton. Then you got PK the other side, like Night Personal, that sort of thing.
Yeah.
And then you got
two midfielders who can play with the ball.
like Keats was more like a Xavi, wasn't he? Like, deeper lying and passing balls around, and Harris was more like an Iniesta, like dribbling.
And then the DM was like Busquets.
Yeah, he just kept it very simple. Just moved it side to side. Should say as well, Maxwell used to play for the Brazilian player Maxwell. He used to play for Barcelona. Obviously, he was really good. You know, I'm not saying he's not, one of the best players ever, which he was. He wasn't as skillful as the rest of them. Similar to Neil Ashton, he was solid. He'd hold his position more. Then obviously, I'm not going to compare any of the forwards, really, but that's just stupid, isn't it? But yeah, I can compare like Chezovic to Messi or something. You just can't do that.
The Welsh Messi.
Yeah. I just can't do that. The Polish Messi. But I'm just saying the general team and the way they played, so matched up. And I think that's just what he went for, the manager, really. Which is interesting because obviously you wouldn't think you'd be able to do it, would you, at that level?
Especially with players that you've only got on 1 year deals, 2 year deals.
Yeah, fair play.
To implement that sort of style is kind of crazy.
Yeah. Should mention Chris Blackburn as well. I think he was only there for the first half of the season, or it might have been a different season. I just want to get him in there, just because he looked a bit like Jesus. He was centre half. I just remember him either being really good or really bad. And yeah, he got to move to League Two in the end. I think halfway through the season. I can't remember if it was that season or not. But yeah, I just thought he was a funny guy. I just wanted to get him in there. Centre out. Yeah. Yeah, games I specifically remember, like the Fleetwood ones. And I remember this guy, he'd come on as sub, and he, for some reason, he got the ball in the strike, sort of on the left wing, and then he just dribbled all the way back to his own centre half position, and then just passed it to the keeper. I don't know why that just stuck in my head, because I just remember thinking, that's just so stupid. That's actually a completely random memory, and obviously Vardy was up front and whatever. But he just dribbled past 3 people, just went to centre half and just passed it back. I think he's just flexing on us. Yeah, I think I remember it, but you were on about that game, the away game, weren't
you? Yeah, he went away the day after Christmas to Telford, and that was one of the only away games we went to this season, wasn't
it? Yeah.
I think we went to a couple more. I just remember them playing some Christmas songs at half time and all that. Yeah. It was freezing cold.
Yeah, right.
And get a hot chocolate or whatever to warm yourself up.
Yeah, I hardly remember that. I don't think I do remember it. Yeah, just kind of mad.
I just distinctly remember that, probably because I was freezing cold.
Yeah, probably, yeah. I didn't used to feel the cold at all back then. I don't know why. But yeah, another good team with Mansfield, actually, weren't they? They were good at the time. I don't really remember too many of their players, to be honest. I don't remember any of them. But I think they come third when I looked earlier. But yeah, the big ones are obviously Luton, weren't they? Who had a big success after, obviously, as we've seen.
You go all the way to the Premier League, the first team in this league to do that, right?
That's it, yeah.
I think not even Fleetwood did it, and they win this week.
That's it, yeah. And we lost to Luton in the playoffs, didn't we?
And we went there and watched it, didn't we? Both legs, I'm pretty sure.
No, we didn't watch the away leg.
Didn't we?
No.
I mean, just watched the one did we win the leg we watched, but we just, needed to win by a larger margin, didn't we?
Yeah, we lost the first one 2-0 away.
Hmm.
And then we won 2-1 at home.
It wasn't enough, so it was conflicting in the stadium because we were winning and we were happy and we had the hope that we could have done it.
Yeah. So, obviously, the player I was alluding to earlier was Andre Gray. And I remember him being so good. Just his touch, and it just felt like, again, this guy's on just a different level, Which you do get from these, London teams, don't you? Because there's such a high concentration of players. And, they all want to live around London, don't they? So, there's only so many clubs, so you end up going down the divisions. And obviously we needed to get a 2-0 win there, but we couldn't quite do it. Yeah, so Luton went on to lose in the final of the playoffs, didn't they? So we were wondering about that in Pansy, weren't we? He was coming all the way up to the Premier League with them.
They could have lost to us and let us have a crack at final if we were just going to lose.
Yeah, rubbish. But yeah, he was only 17 at the time when we looked. And he ends up going there 2 years later.
And that's the one when they win the league.
Yeah, and they get all the way to the Premier League. Hopefully Wrexham can do that.
Hopefully. We got 2 back-to-back promotions now. Obviously it's going to take a lot longer to get the next 2 leagues, isn't it?
Yeah. But yeah, we got the table up now. So you can see 103 points for Fleetwood, which is just a ridiculous number, really, isn't it?
Centurion.
Yeah, and then Wrexham on 98. Which is just crazy, really. If you look at how many games we actually lost, we only lost 7 all season. There's 46 games.
In comparison, there's 38 in the Premier League, so that's a whole 8 more games.
Yeah, absolutely crazy. Obviously, that's really disheartening when that happens. Obviously, you've had a great season, you enjoyed watching it, but you just so desperately wanted to be out of the league, didn't you?
Yeah, because all we'd known personally is them in the National League.
Yeah, pretty much, yeah. Because obviously we were really young, weren't we, 2008 when they got relegated? I should say I do remember the day we got relegated. I remember being there, which you definitely won't remember. But yeah, it was a weird... I probably remember that just because it was such a weird experience. Getting relegated and just everyone's demeanour and just the aura around the place,
I do remember a bit because it's you don't want to get relegated into this league, because it's a death sentence, basically.
Yeah, which it was. Wrexham would never have got promoted, really, without being taken over, would they?
No.
And so many teams go out of business, so I'll just go right down the leagues.
Yeah. And then obviously this is why there's so much at stake in this season.
Yep.
The season where we were playing really well, we had a really good team, but we knew it wasn't going to last.
Yep.
Because the players are on short contracts or whatever.
Yep.
Yeah, it was really a terrible day when we, first we didn't get automatically promoted, that was sad, but there's always the playoffs, to keep you hooked on the dream.
Yep.
And then obviously when we lost to Luton in that semi-final, very, very sad day.
Yeah, it was. So yeah, that's just some stuff we remember from that season. There's some great memories there, isn't there, really?
Yeah. It was obviously a major part of our life going every week to watch the game.
Yeah.
And then obviously we didn't stop after that season, we continued watching them in a few more seasons.
Yeah. But, that's football, isn't it? That's why everyone loves football so much, especially in this country. Which, like we said before, it sort of feels like we're cheating now, doesn't it?
Financial doping.
Yeah.
Must be what Man City fans feel like.
Yeah, just, I don't know, I don't feel the same, does it? Obviously enjoy it, but I'd much rather just grind it and do it and accomplish it over 20 seasons than do it in 3. I don't know. Feels weird.
It'll only feel good, I think, like truly good if we get to the Premier League.
Yeah, yeah.
Because right now, like, we're expected to go up the leagues fast now because we're rich.
Yep.
And then when you get to the Premier League, every team's rich now, so...
Yeah.
If you accomplish something in that league, then you've done well.
It's like you were saying when because Wrexham were never on FIFA. Like I was hoping they get promoted just so they could be on FIFA. We could play with them.
Yeah, because we had to just put them on. I think we picked West Brom, didn't we? We just deleted all the West Brom players, put them on free agent.
Yeah, I can't remember what team they.
Yeah, or like Burton Albion was.
I'm sure we used to pick one with like a red kit and just like delete that club off the face of the earth, basically.
Yeah, put all our players on free agent.
I think create all the Wrexham players.
And obviously juice their stats up as favourite players.
Yeah. And then
we'd also put ourselves in the team, right?
I don't remember. I don't think so.
Or was that a different career mode?
I think it was pretty authentic, that Wrexham one. But yeah, they could never get promoted while I was playing FIFA, basically. It just never happened. Until like recently, obviously. Pretty funny.
Yeah. I don't know how long this video is going to be. It feels pretty long. We've been recording for like over an hour.
Yeah.
Obviously, we're going to cut it down a bit. But, this was covering a whole season and a whole team that we have a lot of thoughts on.
Yeah.
So, like, the future, like, football time machine episodes probably be shorter.
Yeah, right, yeah.
And just a quick tease, we're going to do one about one of the Arsenal seasons now.
Yeah, I want to do the one with Alex Song. Alexander Song belonged. Yeah. Nasri, yeah. Who else was in that team?
Robin Van Persie.
Yeah, Vermaelen.
Yeah. El Nino.
We'll get to that. Very good.
So if you're watching this, you're probably a Wrexham fan and you don't care about Arsenal, but if you do, look out for that video in the future.
Yeah.
Kind of closing thoughts on this season?
I don't know, it's just when I think about it now, I mean, not really my thoughts at the time, but I just think it's possible to do anything really, like in football, and you can get a team to play anyway, whatever level you're at. But then you've also got to remember, there's massive differences, and just a massive separation in class between that league and, even League One. It's so different.
Yeah, completely different sports that play completely different.
Yeah. But somehow they managed to get this higher level and actually implement it into the National League. Which was probably the only way of competing with Fleetwood, really, wasn't it? Because Fleetwood were more of a classic National League team and get in the box, score goals.
And that obviously does come down to the manager, because Dean Saunders was way out of his league for there, really, wasn't
he? Yeah.
He should have been way higher up.
Yeah, obviously the career he had in football and his knowledge of the game and all that.
So we got really lucky that we got him.
Yeah. It's just all it was like a perfect storm, is how I'd like to finish it. It was a perfect storm, but it was just still something else. I don't know what can get in the way of a storm, But Fleetwood were just there, weren't they? Just ruining it. But apart from them, it was honestly you'd never get a better team. And that would have organically saved Wrexham instead of the way it's been done now.
I wonder if we would have got promoted and all this time we were in League 2. Yeah. Ryan Reynolds would have actually taken it over. Or did he want the lower, and bring them all the way up?
Don't know really. Someone suggested in the project, and obviously Rob McElhenney, he had it first, didn't he? The idea, but someone must have just suggested it to him. I think they would have just seen the age of the club and then the history.
So it wouldn't have mattered if we got promoted.
I suppose, like you say, if they were more successful, it's not quite as appealing, is it? You, like you say, you want someone who's just completely down in the dirt, and you
Yeah,
want,
it's completely the thing that's rescued us basically.
which it is. There's no two ways about it.
Yeah.
Wrexham probably would have folded
Yeah.
within the near future if they didn't took it over.
Yeah, definitely. So that's why I didn't understand. They had to debate when they came in with the offer to buy the club. They had to debate it.
Yeah.
Instantly, it's just a no-brainer. You just say yes, don't you? Whatever the conditions they want. If you truly love the club.
What about if Joaquin Phoenix was buying it?
That's a bit different.
Get out of here.
Yeah.
Joaquin Phoenix partnering with someone.
Who's another deranged Hollywood person? Britney Spears.
No, right, mate. You can go.
No, we'll keep it in National League.
I'll take my chances with the Wrexham fan ownership. I'd rather go out of business.
And, if you watch the Wrexham documentary, there's a whole big thing about the turf pub. But we've never been in there.
No, I still haven't been there.
It's not a big thing that every Wrexham fan goes to.
No, it's just obviously historic and it's on the ground.
Yeah. It's maybe 50 regulars go there.
Yeah.
And we're not part of it.
Oh, yeah, that's a good point, actually. And we can actually finish on this, because everybody has a unique experience, don't they? And a unique memory of football. And there's no set way of doing it.
No, we just went and watched the games and enjoyed it. But we didn't engage with other fans, really, did we?
No.
And you don't have to if you enjoy it like that. And that's the way you can enjoy it.
Yeah. But then, if you're someone, you can rely on the club for this community, can you? And the only time you see people every week is when you go to the football. The rest of the time you're just completely alone. And that's what football does. Football just unites a community, and it gives people something to get behind and strive for, something bigger than themselves.
Yeah. And that's why it's kind of sad that we got so many international tickets going now.
Yeah.
Some of these regulars who that's the whole life is watching Wrexham every week.
That's it, yeah.
They can't get tickets. No.
Yeah. Unfortunate.
And that's the way when you get taken over and the club goes up. It's the way of every club, really.
Yeah.
I'm sure Arsenal fans or United fans who are from Manchester and London respectively, they're annoyed that foreign import tickets or whatever.
Yeah. We should say there's thousands of clubs in the UK where you can get that experience, that sense of community if you want it. Yeah.
Obviously, if you're from the UK, then you don't really get a choice on who you support, do you really?
No.
It's just where you're born usually.
That's it.
So yeah, with all that being said, here's the Wrexham getting into the Premier League, and whoever Arsenal going up against the title race, Wrexham take points off them. So Arsenal can win the league. And we'll let Wrexham win the league once as well. Why not?